Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news discussion and, of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works and the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is Ian.
Hey, I'm your writer.
Also joining us is Evgeni.
Hi, I'm Argent, and this episode is sponsored by 5 Bubblegum.
It's not
my
sponsored.
favorite bubblegum.
Not ad. It's not an ad. We didn't get money.
Hashtag not an ad.
Not an ad. Not an
They're
ad.
still good bubblegums.
Sure, maybe.
Are they bubblegum? They're gum. Bubblegum
are
is a
they?
subset.
I don't know
Lord.
it.
This is false advertising.
I can bubble with this gum, therefore it's a bubblegum.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That is a cogent argument.
Yeah,
What
agreed.
is a soul?
Yes.
What is a bubblegum?
What is a bubblegum?
Chew a soul.
Starting strong. Also, we got David.
Hello. I'm still nonplussed. Just the other way.
Yeah.
No, we are still nonplussed. We've just swapped
Polarity.
nonplussed polarity. Yes.
Yes. And last but definitely not least is Bonnie.
Hi, I'm Cosmeregirl, and my excitement for this episode has grown exponentially.
That's
Uh-huh.
crazy. You're a graph of increasing excitement, whereas we, as the day goes on, it's like we're crashing.
Well, she was divided last time, so she's
okay.
changed trajectory.
I see. Your first and second derivative are both positive.
Oh boy.
Alright, and I'm chaos. And so we haven't changed clothes since last time. So we're talking about more WoBs, and so we're starting very well.
Yeah,
as you
we've
can
not
see.
changed clothes because it's the same day or
Yeah.
night, as the case may be.
Some productions would try and maintain the illusion, whereas we don't care. So
No, today is the 18th of January, and we are doing a twofer.
that's right. So we're gonna go into WoB mode. Before we totally go in, full Cosmere spoilers for stuff. That's what we're doing.
Questioner asks, at the end of Secret History, Kelsier went to Spook specifically to tell him that they needed to find him a way back into the physical realm. Does that make Spook the original Ghostblood, or at least one of the people who made the Ghostblood? Brandon, yeah, you could make that argument, definitely. I like that argument. Now let's point out that Kelsier went to him for a couple reasons. Number one, Spook is easy to manipulate, or at least Kelsier assumed he would be. Spook had learned a lot in the time since Kelsier passed away, so he wasn't as easy to manipulate as Kelsier thought. And also, Spook had some experience with hemalurgy that was really relevant to what Kelsier wanted to do. But yeah, you could call him the first recruited Ghostblood. I mean, Kelsier's the first one, but he's the first recruit.
I feel like it's maybe a touch generous to say that Spook had experience with hemalurgy.
Yeah.
Ripping the piece
He
of
got-
metal out of his
He
arm.
got stabbed.
Experience can be many things.
Look,
He
that's
experienced
Experienced hemalurgy.
That's the kind of experience that you'd like put on your resume to like apply to the Canton of Inquisition. I'm like, I've totally experienced. I have experience with
Yeah.
hemalurgy, guys. Please. Let
I mean,
me in.
no, like if I were to give this like a fair shake, if Kelsier is interested in hemalurgy, there are not a lot of people whose souls he can look at.
That's true. That's a fair
Yeah.
point. Spook is
So, it's
Yeah.
Spook and Marsh.
yeah.
What about Quellion?
Did he survive?
He did.
Don't
He
remember.
survived.
He did. I think they took the spike out of Quellion though, didn't they?
They did.
Well, they took the spike out of Spook.
He put it back in though. Isn't the end of Secret History, doesn't he? Isn't he putting a spike back? He puts a spike back
he
in, and then
does put a
Kelsier appears, doesn't he?
Oh, that's
Because
right.
he had a blacksmith forge a little earring spike for him. I believe that's my recollection. I've not read.
Oh yeah,
Secret History recently.
that's why he can see Kelsier at the end.
Yeah, it's not that Spook
true.
can just see anybody, even though he used to be a hemalurgist.
Ye-
Or maybe he's not a. What is a hemalurgist?
What is the hemalurgy? Oh God. Ugh.
Yes.
Yes.
So one who enacts hemalurgy upon others.
I like how the Quellion article on the Coppermind is really long, but has only really been added to by random IPs. Except like
It's
one
like individual
person.
facts.
Yeah. No, but like 1900 bytes, like big chunks. It's not just facts.
Go team.
Go team.
Go team.
It would be interesting to find out when the Ghostbloods, as we like kind of know them in modern times, really did start. Because I wouldn't call, you know, the Kelsier and Spook dynamic duo the Ghostbloods, right?
No, not
Someone has
yet.
to be the first.
Maybe
but,
when we get the Spook secret history.
No, see what the Kelsier Spook thing is Kelsier is following his instinctual desire to have a master-apprentice relationship, and he
Yes.
immediately moves back
More
into that
than
role
making
as
cults, he
soon-
loves the master apprentice.
I mean, you're
vibe,
not
for
wrong,
sure. Yes,
Yeah,
addicted.
and so he goes right back to that. Yeah, Kelsier's a man of habits, and it's a really interesting like time period. You know, this is why I'm always like, Brandon, right? This point in Secret History too, and it should be about this. But
The whole kandra in animal bodies thing.
Kandra animal bodies.
Okay,
Uh,
that is
whole
just a
new
wall. Does
world.
not count anymore. People need to let the Canberra animal bodies thing go.
The, you know, building, you know, the foundation of what would become the Ellendale Basin. Kelsier noping off and, you know, saving the Southerners. The
Mhm.
bands of more. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening in the first
10, 15 years.
decades post
I think it's
Cassandra.
uncharitable to give Kelsier air quotes saving the Southerners. They seem like they were in pretty dire straits. I think he did do
And that was
He
10 years
helpful.
after Ice Death. So yeah, so he had 10
And
years.
I love that they like saw like they hadn't adapted at all. Like they were just like, yep, like we're gonna freeze to death now.
I mean, I would assume it's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. That's still somewhat
Yeah,
baffling.
I'd like the secret history to like explain all of that a little better. For
There's a few jumps that we have not figured out by the time we got to Lost Metal. It's like, wait, but how did we do that part? Okay, sure.
As much as I love the ancient temple in the mountains of Bands of Mourning, just all aspects of it stretch the bounds of my plausibility. Like
I
at all
need
times.
a story
Like,
that is all about building that temple. I need POVs from the construction workers and the engineers.
To be fair, every Indiana Jones style temple is equally baffling for the exact same
Yes.
reasons.
That's why I want that book.
That'd be good.
we find out the 3-letter code that opens the door. We'll find out what
Yeah.
it is. It's at Ben.
Yeah. Is it Vin? Yeah.
Never gonna get answers.
Let's spike this question out of the document and move on to the next one, which
Okay.
once again comes from a questioner who asks, at the end of Wind and Truth, Roshar in the physical realm is in a time bubble. Does that then pierce or extend to the cognitive realm and the spiritual realm? Will that then in turn affect Kaladin and Shallan in their respective journeys? The motivation being Shallan is stuck in Shadesmar, and so whether she's in a time bubble relative to the physical realm matters, and similarly Kaladin is in the spiritual realm, so whether or not he's part of the time bubble, that also matters. And Brandon says, it does hit the cognitive realm and not the spiritual realm. Spiritual realm is outside of this kind of normal time and space sort of things. Imagine this like being close to a singularity, which should be trivially easy for people to imagine. It's not a true time bubble because it doesn't have a strict border, an edge. It's going to fade out the further you get along, if you were able to do that in space. In space, but in the subastral. The idea is the further you get, the less time distortion there's going to be. A big old, essentially a singularity that is just warping time-space around. Not going to affect the spiritual realm, so you should expect that a lot more time will have passed on. Well, the spiritual realm, weird things could happen. They could come back and 100 years could have passed. They could come back and 10 minutes has passed. So you have to see what I end up doing with that. You would expect that Kaladin's experience and Shallan's experiences will have diverged in time-wise.
That all checks out for me.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One. Remind me. I'm forgetting. Does the bubble of slowness, is it around Roshar or is it around the Rosharan system?
I don't think we know.
Unknown.
Okay, I can remember because I was trying to think if like because Kaladin's on Braze. Is Braze inside and fully inside this bubble, or inside just kind of like the catching the edge of it, like Brandon's talking about how it's fading out? Because so that's just question A. It sounds like unclear. Question B.
Yeah.
Well, he's also in the spiritual realm.
And I was just about to dispute that. Is because they say, I believe in the vision, don't they say that time will be different? Like that they are experiencing dilation as well, and it's not going to be the same as for the people who are in the physical realm necessarily, but they're going to be experiencing it even shorter. Yeah. So if they're in a place without time, why are they experiencing the time dilation?
It's not that they're experiencing time dilation. It's that relative to themselves, they will experience. So like Kaladin can be doing therapy for 10,000 years, and then they pop out and a decade has passed.
Oh, that's not how I interpret that at all.
What's going on with like their like mental vacation? That's what's happening.
100%. 100%.
Like, yes, it's like there's time dilation going on. It's not a result of what's happening to the physical and cognitive realms. Like that's like it's designed that way.
Yeah.
They're not experiencing less time because of the time dilation. Like they're just experiencing less time. That's all they need to do.
I think it's more an out of universe thing to try and indicate to readers that like the amount of time that passes for Kaladin and the time that passes with Shallan will be different, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Can I read the line that makes me say that I think they are experiencing time dilation due to what's happening to Roshar?
Great.
This is from the postlude. Yada yada. Not true, Kaladin said, yada yada. Ishar says that with the merging of Honor and Odium, things are odd. An unexpected warping of time has happened. So it'll pass strangely for us. More strangely even than what is happening on Roshar.
Okay, that's okay. That connects them. That's pretty compelling.
And so
for sure.
here's my argument is that they are not in the spirit. They're sort of in the spiritual realm, but they are in Shadesmar. They're in the cognitive realm as they are normal, as I assume they normally are as heralds on Braze. And they're experiencing a vision into the spiritual realm. Yeah, it's kind of what I think is happening. So they are experiencing time dilation. And I mean, you're like, okay, you could have the vision run at whatever time you wanted it to, but it appears that they're doing some sort of. For some reason, they're choosing to experience the time. I guess they could counteract it if they wanted to. I don't know.
I guess that like the structure of the spiritual realm is just weird with the Retribution's power tantrum. You
could just do a full stop. It is weird.
Yeah, you don't even need it. Yeah.
More weird than usual, right? So like their quote unquote physical bodies, their cognitive bodies are aging at a rate appropriate for the time. So like they're aging at the same rate that Shallan is aging, for example. Their minds, like I think it's a whole lot of nothing. Like, I don't know why that line is there. I don't like, they're going to come back. They will have experienced 100 years of therapy. Their bodies are going to be just fine.
But they won't, Argent. They're going to experience months.
They're experiencing
whereas
less
the people
time.
on Roshar they're experience much less time, not more.
Yeah.
But you can make time whatever you want in the spiritual realm.
But it's not going to be that. Like, that's what they're saying in this line, is that it's going to be months for them, not years. Everyone else is going to experience years. So like they're not saying, but these months will pass like years for us. They're saying we will experience months here.
It's like, I think part of that is because it is like their minds are going to the spiritual realm vision. Their bodies are staying in the cognitive realm. I think if somebody went fully into the spiritual realm, then like at that point, it's fully disconnected. Like there's gonna be no bearing. Like whatever happens with time is just spiritual realm weirdness.
Agreed.
That seems fair.
Because like that's what happens with everybody's favorite baby Gav.
Gavinor. I love Gavinor.
Some people's favorite.
The implications of this one are going to be interesting with Shallan being older than Kaladin now.
That is, thinking of like mom Shallan and Kaladin's just like, I'm just as buff and awesome as before.
That's a good point. That'll be weird.
Or like older
Adolin's going to be older.
Yeah, when they all three, yeah.
Huh.
I mean, like how long is this? We're talking 10 years, right?
Yeah, he's
Will
never
he,
gonna.
do you think he will? Well, do you think his body will age? Like, do you think he like? I like if there was in the same way that like the returned kind of. Like the children grow to become adults. Like if Kaladin imagined himself aging into like a seasoned like soldier, I could see him still aging for a time until he kind of reached. But I guess the rest of the heralds were kind of stuck. Like Shallan was, or I don't know. The rest of them didn't really.
Shlash?
Who knows?
Yeah, like
Oh yeah, Shalash, not Shallan.
Yeah, but she aged. All the heralds aged more slowly even before they became part of the Oath Pact, and then the Oath Pact kind of sealed them in that moment of time.
Yeah, it seemed like they had either, I don't know if they had fully stopped aging when they had the odium powers and then it was gradually returning, because I think the rate was ramping up, wasn't it? Like they were getting older, fat. Like it seemed like as time went on.
That's what Ishar was concerned with.
Yeah.
God, that's still so crazy.
Yeah.
All the odium powers.
If Shallan's pregnant, then she's going to have like a 10-year-old by the time Kaladin comes back.
10, 15-year-old.
He's going to come back and be like, what is this?
It's maybe
Moto.
Kalanor.
Yes. Whatever thing in Stormlight 10 where Shallan, Adolin, and Kaladin have a drink when everything's all done, they're going to be in very different life places, and so that will be interesting.
On Spaceship Earth Zero.
Yes.
He has his new little brother too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orden's going to be so much older now.
Orden's going to be older. Oh, that'll be fun.
Angsty teen.
He's going to be a teenager.
That's going to be so hard for him to be like TN age.
We're going to be another TN. More TNs in back half for Kaladin. Yes.
Yeah, we're ending with every book realizing that somebody is somebody's TN.
And this one's just like, oh man. No, in back half, it's going to be, it's this person is Oridon. And it's all constantly compared to Oridon. It's different. It's slightly different now.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, but by the
it'll be more inspiring because Oridon isn't going to die.
Kaladin will have awesome herald powers and fifth ideal powers. He'll be fine.
Can't wait.
And there's a lot of fun you can have with the 10 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm it's going to be interesting. We'll see how that
Imagine
goes.
how many WoBs we can read in 10 years.
I know. Yeah,
Less than 100.
Okay.
All right, David.
This is a good one. This feels like fate that I got this one. All right, questioner. My question is what the role of the kandra will be once they get off the world of Scadrial. Will they be maybe with the Night Brigade or spies, mercenaries? Because they have that shapeshifting ability that could let them replace other characters potentially. Brandon, this depends. If it's before, there's a certain event that will happen. It's not going to happen on screen. I'm sorry. It happens in the intervening years where Sazed just basically lets the kandra go. They're released from their contracts. If it's before, they should be doing what Sazed says. They don't all, but they should be doing. After, he's just like, you need to live your lives and be your own people. Then they get to decide. Some, and I would say the majority, continue doing what they had been doing. There's a lot of momentum behind just living a life and things like that. Others might do as you say and go out and be mercenaries. Some might just explore the Cosmere. Others might just go and be weirdos like Olam. It just depends on the individual.
That makes
I
sense.
love weird kandra.
Ulam's crazy.
I love weird immortals. Give me that. That's one of the things Brandon doesn't do enough in the Cosmere.
That's true.
The Cosmere is chock full of immortals.
They're not that weird.
Not enough of them are weird enough.
Ulam's pretty weird, though. We got a hint of that.
I do like the kandra working for Harmony, though. So it's sad that like they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Well, this was referenced. Was this referenced in Tress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly in the
released.
context of Hoid going, oh, Ulam's really weird. I feel like they've gotten weirder since Harmony let them go.
Yeah.
Which I wonder why, like did something specific happen with Harmony? Like I'm always kind of like remembering how vulnerable they are to his control, and he's having all these Discord problems and whatnot. Like I don't know if him releasing them would actually do anything mechanically to stop him from taking them over, but I'm like, I wonder if there was a point where he was like, I don't trust myself to be
That's what I was thinking.
your
too.
father anymore.
Yeah.
Like you need to be making your own decisions now because I don't want to be leading you astray.
I could see Sazed deciding that it's just not right for him to make choices for them either.
That's also fair. Yeah.
Which would be very in line with like the way he thinks about humans. one thing I do find interesting about this WoB is actually the way he frames the idea of Sazed letting them go. He talks about there is a certain event that will happen where Sazed just basically lets the kandra go. The way I've been thinking about this before is at some point Sazed goes, oh, I'm gonna let these people go, right?
Mhm.
The way this frames it is something else happens.
Yeah.
And as a consequence or whatever of that something else, Sazed lets the kandra go.
Like, I think that's a plausible, like, I don't think this inherently says that. I think that's plausible. This just says a certain event will happen where Sazed lets them go. The event is Sazed letting them go. Is like the strictest reading of
happening.
I can
But,
see
like,
that. I just struggled like calling that an event.
So
Well,
I
it's a
feel
big
like
deal. But like, I will agree. I think something happens to cause that. But like, I've always thought that.
I think you have a good point though with Sazed kind of realizing with that he doesn't trust himself anymore. And as Sazed holds Harmony longer and longer, he's kind of losing himself more and more.
Mm.
And I feel like this might be kind of a final, like, he does something as Harmony, the piece of him that Sazed is like, this is not okay,
Yeah.
releases the kandra, and then we lose Harmony. Or I'm sorry, then we kind of lose Sazed to Harmony. Kind of like a last push for like, no, I'm not okay with this. And then we have whatever happens.
I think they've been hearing from him less in the Lost Metal, if I remember rightly, too.
I think that's
like
true.
he had just been talking to the kandra less frequently. Like in my mind, I feel like it's totally philosophically says to be like people should be able to make their own decisions and make their own way in the world. I think that he freeing the kandra still feels like it probably needs some sort of precipitating event in my mind, or at least something that made him reconsider the situation, even if it wasn't something dramatic.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
probably he was leaning that way, and then there was something that triggered, and he's like, "No, I gotta do this."
Yeah,
That seems plausible.
which ominous. I don't
It
know.
is a little
The other
ominous.
thing that
No, I think everything is going to be fine with Sazed.
Yeah. The other thing that I was wondering about this WoB was when he was saying, well, the kandra kind of keep doing what they've been doing, which I don't know. That doesn't really sound so much like, I'm like, okay, so weren't they kind of doing that already then? Like, what was this releasing maybe was a little bit symbolic, you know? Because like, I don't think he's directing the kandra. Like, he's got kandra agents out there, but like, I feel like most of them are kind of like blending in with society and just kind of occasionally doing kandra stuff together, you know, and kind of satisfying their own curiosity. Or like, is there a project that he's mostly got them working on?
I mean, maybe it's this occasionally thing that like matters here.
Mm-hmm. Like he'll just never call on them again, more or less, and they're just kind of going to be left fully to their own devices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do imagine that, like, if you're a kandra and you're, you know, just kind of doing stuff and then occasionally called by Sazed and Sazed releases you, you're not going to switch your whole life. Like, they're kind of more of preservation so that, like, I think it's harder philosophically for them to change. They're so long-lived. They're like, I mean, I'm doing fine, you know. Great, I don't have to do missions for Sazed or whatever, or I'm just going to continue doing that thing. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's more just saying, like, we don't necessarily need to expect, oh yeah, there's kandra agents all over the place. Like, there's probably some, right? But there's it's not like going to be the majority. A lot of them are still going to be on Scadrial, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we got now, Bonnie?
Next one we're going into is from another questioner. Going to Emberdark, we saw the Investiture-based weapon that the Scadrians used. Is Investiture behaving like light, as it has photons, or something similar? It has a speed limit?
This is a good
And Brandon
question.
says, the weird thing about Investiture is like how light sometimes acts as a particle or wave, right? There is a third state for Investiture. It is sometimes being a particle, sometimes being a wave. There are third states, and when we get into the scientific age, we'll talk about this. Most uses of Investiture do follow the speed of light. For instance, span raids are bound by the speed of light, but some don't. For instance, Seance are not bound by the speed of light for communication, Ansible style. Right now, for instance, Else Calling is bound by the speed of light. When you see the portal in Wind and Truth, you'll notice that there was a border to the portal, so there was a little bit of a tunnel. That would have gotten longer and longer depending on how far they were going, to the point that it could last years, if you're traveling light years. Now, there are ways around this, but you have to be doing it in specific ways with specific states of investiture and things like that. You should assume that investiture is often acting like a matter when you're seeing it, that is radiating a certain type of energy that is acting like light. So it's state number 3, which is an actual physical thing that generally looks like a liquid, radiating particles that are acting like photons, which could be either particle or wave depending on, And then questioner says, if investiture, like you said before, doesn't go away, what happens if something loaded with investiture falls into a black hole? And Brandon responds, we don't even really know what happens in our worlds if you fall in a black hole. But my expectation would be depending on the state of that investiture. If it's in its matter state, it could be trapped there just like matter could be. But when investiture radiates, it's sending these particles off, and you can see them as light. But they're eventually fading into the spiritual realm. They're not continuing as photons forever. Investiture radiates back into the spiritual realm. Sometimes you'll see it turning into mist before it vanishes. And that is vanishing back into the third plane, sort of thing. All investiture is eventually trying to get back there if it's in those states, if it's not turned fully into matter, something like that. Even black holes can radiate, right? We now know that they do. I would assume that it's going to be slowly radiating out into the spiritual realm.
So investiture Hawkwing radiation confirmed.
Yeah.
Everybody, put it on the copper mind. What are the implications, physicists? Let's get in there.
So Hawking radiation is a thing where black holes do emit radiation, and eventually black holes will disappear, but it takes a very long time. So the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy is just fine. That will take way too long.
They're not.
I think it's like 10 to the
particle
120. Like, I think it's like a really long time.
A particle of investiture and a particle of anti-investiture pop on the border of the event horizon of the black hole, and depending on which one is on the real side, it can escape.
Yeah.
I did find it incredibly amusing when Brandon goes, well, we don't even know what happens to matter in our universe when it goes into black hole. And I was like, fair point, Brandon. Like, we can't answer this question in real life. And we're like, how does it work in the Cosmere, though? You know, like...
Just like in real life.
Just like in real life, it goes to the spiritual realm, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask the Arcanists. They know.
Oh, yeah. This seems fine to me. I imagine, like, you have a jar of purified door. Like, what do you do? What is that if you, like, got an electron microscope at it? It's like, oh, it probably looks like different crap, right? Than, like, atoms, right? Like, it's something else. So I think that's what Brandon's talking about, right?
Yeah. It's like an exotic energy matter, that looks like a liquid. This is purified door. This is the stuff in the pool. Like...
We don't need to get into what happens if you put a god metal under an electron microscope, because I don't want to think about that right now, because that's weird. What is
Brandon will decide that if a character chooses to put a god metal under an electron microscope?
Not before.
Harmonium.
What would that look like?
Harmonium has been described as like a super cesium,
Sure.
which is not like literally super cesium, right? But like its properties are explosive in that sense. And so for a long time, the fandom has worried, well, are there elements corresponding to, is there a harmonium atom that I can look at? And like, what is its electron configuration looking like?
No, there's like a very old wob about this where he talks about the investiture kind of being wrapped around it. So here's my belief. I actually have a theory about this, which is that what you call a god metal is some sort of regular normal matter that is in that period of the periodic table, like maybe it is cesium or whatever, that has been wrapped in power, that has its spiritual aspect modified, that contains all this power, has been pumped full of power, and it effectively acts like a new type of atom, but really is just like a spiritually modified common piece of matter. Based on that ancient WoB.
There was like another theory like adjacent to that, like that drew parallels between atium and platinum, I think. It was basically finding like the alternate elements, and I think atium was like platinum. just like looking at like the properties that are observed.
Don't make an ATM retcon joke. Don't make an ATM retcon joke. We need to
I
steer
will
past
never.
that. I know.
I will never. We're not going
But-
to talk about it.
I could also see it's matter, but it's not made out of protons and neutrons and
Yeah.
electrons.
Yeah.
It's made out of
Different stuff.
investiture particles that mimic those things.
Yeah, sure.
To a certain extent,
Okay.
like what is the difference between those? And it's like,
Okay,
Because
so
investiture can become matter. See what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, when we
yeah,
talk
like
about
so that's like the
different
difference
states, too.
between like a shard saying "Let there be a planet," which is Scadrial, versus like manifesting a god.
making
Like
a
one of those is
of
still
race, yeah.
investiture, whereas one is not investiture.
carbon and iron and stuff like that.
maybe.
When we talk about investiture, it has different states too. You know, you have
It does.
gaseous, liquid, solid. But when I think about it, I imagine it almost closer to electrons
In what way?
with how
what
it
do you
moves
mean?
around.
What do you mean?
It just, how do you think about it? Like,
This means something very specific to me.
Vibes.
What do you mean?
I don't know, man. It just feels like an electron, you know?
Do you think the
Like-
investiture things satisfy the Pauli Exclusion Principle? Like, what do we think here?
Oh, Eric.
This is where I'm sorry.
You must, right?
They're not electrons.
I think when I think about it with electrons, I think in the way that imagining another particle like an electron. So rather than imagining it as an atom, imagining it like something that tags along to an atom.
like another
Okay,
fundamental.
Okay.
force, kind
Like
of
another fundamental
electromagnetism.
particle.
Okay. Okay.
I could see that for sure.
Sure. Okay. That's significantly better than what I feared with this conversation.
So like that kind of gets into like the wrapping
Yeah.
around it. Like
Yeah, like with the
Dave was
wrapping,
saying.
but more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. That's fine. That's close enough to fine. Don't make me get my particle physics book, which I don't remember much of, and I could not do any problem in the year, but
You remember that name though. You remember that name, the Pauli.
You know I'm going to be looking that up.
Right.
You know I'm going to be
Well,
looking
but
that
yeah,
up.
that's a fun, you
I
know.
mean, I can tell you about the Pauli Exclusion Principle. I remember what
That's a
that
good
is.
one. That's a good one. It's at the double. I never know any of the names of the experiments.
No, that's not
it's
an experiment.
It's not double slit.
No, it's not an experiment either. All that is you can't have an electron in the exact same state. It can't have the same quantum numbers. So that's why they have to be in different orbitals and stuff. Anyway.
I love an
Sorry.
orbital. I love an orbital.
Orbitals are
Those
fun.
are always fun to think about.
You can
anyway.
derive the
Yeah,
you can,
like
you can drive them. That's very cool.
yeah, learning about orbitals, like and like, oh, this is why the periodic table is shaped like that was like such a cool thing. There's a reason it looks so funny.
It's even cooler to go mathematically and get the shape of the orbitals, which you can do. It's very cool. Well, for hydrogen,
That is
I don't know what the chemists do. Physicists can
remember
only deal with
seeing,
hydrogen.
like-
Sorry.
Like shapes of them though. That's gotta
Yeah,
be interesting.
yeah. The chemists do other things. I don't know anything about that, but I assume complicated. Anyway, let's move on.
On from orbital.
Well, so they
Oh, I guess there is a little more, isn't there? Yeah, the speed of light stuff, right?
There's a little more. One thing that I appreciate about this WoB is one, it describes investiture as this like obviously we've known for a very long time that investiture is this weird thing that is not energy, it is not matter, but it can kind of behave like either in certain circumstances. I like the description that Brandon provides here, which is a lot of the times you have something like matter that radiates something like energy. And all of that this is investiture, right? So it is almost like this, I was going to say superposition because, but no, because that's wrong. It's almost like this combination of the two, right?
Sure.
So it's not its own independent third thing. It almost sits in the middle between matter and energy.
I don't know if I would agree with that necessarily, but I don't know if I
agree that
agree
it
with
has characteristics of both, but I
Yeah.
don't know that I
Yeah.
No
Okay.
in the middle.
Well, it's not important. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I do like the description of, oh, it's something like matter that radiates something like energy.
For sure.
I think that's a good way to think about it. And the other thing that I like about this is going back to the Exodus, the humans migrating from Ashen, and
Right.
I don't think we ever like talked about or even necessarily figured out why when Navani is looking at the portal, she notes that it's like it has a little thickness.
Oh,
to it.
okay, sure, yeah, and so that's this, I guess.
And so I like
Okay.
that Brandon is going, oh well, that's like a tunnel a little bit, right? It takes, obviously we don't know how long it's going to take light to travel between Ashen and Roshar, but it's
Probably estimate it though, and it's probably
You
not
can-
very far.
yeah.
Describing
yeah.
a wormhole?
No,
A couple minutes. I don't know. Maybe
I
not.
would say it's more like describing speed of light delay from like sun to Earth. I think this is
Yeah.
like imagine like
Gotcha.
the
That
speed
makes
of
sense.
light delay from Earth to Mars, which
Yeah, it's-
actually you'd think that would actually be that can be really far actually.
It's like 8 minutes.
well,
Like,
sun to Earth
to
is 8
sun
minutes.
is 8 minutes, yeah.
that's a good point. No, actually, no. I think isn't the sun or Earth? Okay, I'm not gonna get into
No,
it.
no,
I'm not
it's
gonna be
8
like. It's
minutes.
actually, I think maybe.
It's definitely 8 minutes.
And so like, I suspect the math doesn't quite work out. I think if we were to, because like the way Navani describes it, it's like a very short distance. Like people were taking
Yeah.
a step and crossing that distance. And so, generously you would say, oh, the distance between the two planets is like a few light seconds at most, which is insane. But I like the idea of it's almost like a reverse wormhole, right? It's
Mhm.
the Else Gate is collapsing space to what it would be for the speed of light.
Yeah. I think what it's accurate to say is that Brandon sometimes is doing a little bit of speed of light breaking, but it's not like multiple times the speed of light. Is like what he's trying to kind of avoid a little bit. But like it's something like this, or maybe not intentionally. Like who really cares at the end of the day if it's an 8-minute tunnel or
I
whatever?
mean, I don't know. I
Also,
feel
a
like if-
thing where like when you go in one side of that portal, like you kind of like fuzz and then you rematerialize on the other side.
Is that
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
But
Just in case you're
let us
curious,
know in the comments.
Earth to Mars about either 3 minutes or 20-ish minutes, depending,
because
okay.
it depends on
because it depends, right, where we are in the orbits. That makes sense. I'm not entirely sure how this deals with the thickness of the wormhole. I think the more Brandon talks about this, the more I'm like, should the tunnel be longer? It's like,
It should
if
be,
it's like 20
longer.
minutes,
Like it should be
yes,
much longer.
20 minutes? I don't know. Well,
It should at least be it should be a 3-minute walk, on the short end and
Or,
a 20-minute
you
walk
can-
on the long end. Or
Yeah.
for instance,
you can make it a little, you can make the two planets a little closer. It doesn't have to be Earth and Mars, but like a
Yeah.
minute is
Yeah. Earth and Mars are pretty close, all things considered though.
Yeah.
Like
okay. I don't want to.
it can also be further from Earth and Mars.
because
you
that's
know?
that's what the WoB says, right? Right now, for instance, Else Calling is bound by the speed of light. When you see the portal in Wind and Truth, you'll notice that there is a border to the portal. So there was a little bit of a tunnel. That would have gotten longer and longer depending on how far they were going, to the point that it could last years if you were traveling light years.
Yeah, but then it should still be a bit of it should still be a bit of a
No,
walk,
I
for
agree.
sure.
I think this is
Yeah.
a mistake in Wind and Truth. We in our professional capacity didn't know that this was
We
meant
couldn't
to
possibly
represent
fix this
speed of
problem.
light.
Yeah. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine. It's fine.
well-
It's fine.
We'll fix it in the letterbound.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Can be proportional to it. Whatever.
Chapter
Yes.
50. Within the portal, there was maybe 6 inches of tunnel between the worlds. It was a shimmering silvery color. As she watched people cross from the other side, their forms seemed to fuzz briefly, then fuzz again as they stepped out on this side.
Okay.
There's fuzzing.
Sure.
But
That solves the problem.
Think that I agree that there's fuzzing, and I'm glad, and you're right. I definitely didn't remember that. I don't think that that makes it not. They're still going faster than the speed of light. And
Yes,
make
yes,
this little
yes.
jump.
It's less like a doorway you step through and more like something you step. step through and more like something you step into, which then carries you a distance. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, then it's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine then.
It should still be thicker, probably.
Probably thicker. I did think, Bonnie, about how you're like, yeah, there's solid, liquid, and gaseous investiture. So what if the investiture beam is investiture plasma? Got the other one. It's
Yeah,
possible.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's possible. What does that mean? I
Makes sense.
don't know. It's a beam. It's an energy beam. It's cool. That's what you need to know.
The door was investiture plasma. That's what Brandon's compared it to.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I think he's described it like so. Like, I think he compares the door to to a physical plasma storm in the sense that it's a violent, like destructive thing.
It's not actually plasma, but it's like it. Yeah.
Maybe.
He says it is plasma. This was a wob from Blaze 1616. And if it is gaseous or not gaseous, is it plasma? Talking about the door. And Brandon says, you got it.
Okay,
It's
sure.
super. Oh, hold on. There's more, though. Not plasma. Yeah, it's super dense to the point that it's liquefied and dense. Does that make sense? So it's plasma, basically. That's its own weird thing.
Brandon, calling plasma, it's super dense.
That's not.
That's not
It's
what
own weird
plasma
thing.
is.
It's kind
Not at
of
all.
plasma-like.
What does it even mean to have like plasma? Like,
He's like describing the liquid door and he's going, it's a plasma.
what are you ionizing?
Yeah. Yeah. You know.
The investiture particles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
of course. Yeah.
Of course. Okay, moving on. Thank God. Use the Falchion. Says Wind and Truth's postlude set up Kaladin and the Heralds return to Rosharan for the back half of Stormlight. Once this happens, there are bound to be instances of conflation between Kaladin and Jezrien. As this happens over time, will Kaladin take up more of Jezrien's traits as Kaladin's cognitive shadow is influenced by Jezrien's impact? Brandon, wow, what a great question. I agree. The answer is yes, this could definitely happen. Now, it depends how aware people become of Kaladin as the replacement, but there's definitely going to be pressure upon Kaladin to... All the Heralds are aware of this. The way that people perceive them sometimes influences them, particularly when they're in the spiritual realm. When they've got a body back, they're influenced much less powerfully. There's this stabilizing force to them. And they're aware of it, but yes, that was definitely I wouldn't call it a danger, but that's an aspect of Kaladin's life now. Fun.
I like the idea that they are more susceptible to this when they are in like their pure spiritual form, if you will. And if they manifest a body, then like that anchors them.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me.
Like you can probably make an argument that Kelsier, who is very concerned about the effects of a long life, is not going to be affected in the same nearly as much because he is anchored in this way. Yeah. Now, there are other issues with long life and like memory and get weird and stuff like that. But he's because that's another like conversation the fandom has had for a long time is why is Kelsier looking for the Heralds? And that is one of the answers. Oh, he's concerned that
Sure.
He might get influenced.
Yeah, well, he's got some of the same, like he has the same affliction, I think they say at some point, or something along those lines as Kalik. But they also have, we know he can use memory medallions, so he won't have to worry about his memory filling up with memories either. He can just put them into coins.
Yeah.
So all in all, going to be okay, hopefully.
At least in that sense.
Yeah, this is interesting. I imagine we won't necessarily see too much of this effect on screen. Like, I just don't think there's enough time for this to really be affecting him.
One question I do have, because I don't feel it's super clear, is that like people becoming aware of Kaladin as the replacement has an effect. It's not super clear of like, does that help or does that hurt? Like, does that make it more likely he's going to pick up Jezrien attributes or less likely?
I found that unclear as well.
I would say less, because I think what's happening is, if you think of Jezrien as the Herald, your perception of Jezrien as the Herald is kind of like that spiritual connection is going to Kaladin.
It's pushing onto Kaladin.
Yeah. Whereas if you know Kaladin's the replacement, your preconceived Jezrien notions aren't necessarily going to do that per se.
Yeah, I agree.
Or is that what draws the connection?
Who can say?
My first inclination, like,
Okay.
is what you said first, that like it would help, like, drive like a wedge between like these two people as separate, even though they are both the Herald of the Windrunners. But like, it's ambiguous enough. There's an argument either way.
Yeah, this is interesting, but I imagine Kaladin will be affected much more by just being a herald and like that responsibility than people's perception of that, right? Like, that's going to be the big difference that we see in Kaladin's personality, right?
I think it will take a more time than we have time for books or perception to become a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's not going to be another 3,000 years of desolations after this. Hopefully.
You
Famous last words.
Space Age is further out than you'd expect.
We're gonna
Stormlight
yada yada the
10,
back
you
half.
get super time bubble,
Boom.
stretching it into thousands of years.
The cycle of devastations.
Boom.
Questioner asks, which shard would run the most successful convention, and which would burn it down within the first hour?
I love this question.
Brandon, you're going to think this is odd, but it's going to be autonomy. I don't think that's odd. That totally tracks. Autonomy is very good at setting up structures, having people follow them. To have a successful convention, you would think that you'd want one of the fun shards. No. But to run the convention, you probably don't. The fun shards would give you a dash con. And autonomies, like, there may be some rigid rules, but we have, I'm included in this, a certain perception of autonomy that is not unjustified. But let's just say there are a lot of people in the Cosmere who really appreciate autonomy's ability to make structures and keep things going. The trains run on time with autonomy. Who's most likely to burn it down? Ruin. Yeah, okay, you don't want a convention started by Ruin. We'll go with Ruin. Whimsy. See, Whim's not quite as... No, Whimsy is pretty wacky. You don't know enough about Whimsy yet, though. Ruin, definitely worse.
I have a lot of questions about Whimsy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that sounds like Brandon's trying to decide like how wacky, like he's like considering how wacky is Whimsy, and then he's like, oh, Whimsy's pretty wacky. That's what it sounds
I think
like.
that he often when Whimsy comes up seem to kind of like, the indication I do get is that it's not the scary Whimsy that people like to do. Like, whenever he talks about it, he doesn't seem to like make it sound like like creepy horror. I don't know. Like, maybe it can be kind of fun. I don't know. It might be bad
like,
though.
For me, like, it's not that like Whimsy like should be like inherently like horrific, but like you need the potential for the horrific,
like moments of terror. I think
it's
I
like
think
the
that's
fact,
bullet
like
terror.
the moments when like Whimsy goes to like of like the Whimsy that goes too far is part of Whimsy. Whereas like, and I don't think Brennan's going to get into that.
It's like the fairy tale, like, yeah, you know, I put them in the oven and then now they're this now. And it's like, ooh, wow, how fun's that? It's like not fun, actually, Whimsy.
I always think kind of like Alice in Wonderland a little bit,
where
it's just like, you're kind of like, I am not enjoying this,
Yes.
I mean, every shard needs to have the capacity for both. And if Brandon fails to portray them in that way, then he is messed up. Like, Ruin has to have the entropy side as well as the destruction side. Preservation has to have the kind of life-saving aspect of things, and also the stagnation aspect. All of these. So, I would expect that because they are these like near infinite expressions that get distilled down to a single word, and that's not only like the human emotion or inclination that we associate with these things, but also natural forces that get associated with them, right? And so I would fully expect, and I would call Brandon wrong if he doesn't do that, that whimsy should have kind of this positive, natural sense of wonder and whimsy and a sense of discovery, and also the pulling the legs off an animal just to see what happens aspect to it.
Yeah. It's just like Brandon's comments on whimsy have not given me hope on it.
Yeah.
It's been like very one note. It's like
flip on a banana peel, like honk honk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It's a shard we haven't seen a book about. So,
and one that, if I'm being quite frank, I feel like is more likely to make a cameo in something than have like, we're like, and this is the Whimsy trilogy. Like, that seems somewhat unlikely to me. You know, maybe there's a standalone novel. Maybe there's a secret project that comes out.
Hoid's
like,
Travails.
Yeah, sure.
But if Brandon doesn't get to all the shards, Whimsy seems like a prime candidate for one where you're like, well, you know, like they're around.
Sure.
I mean, it's going to be the farting pancakes, right?
They're the farting pancake world. Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to show up in Super Awesome Danger, I think is what it's called.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's not Cosmere, though.
Is Super Awesome Danger Cosmere?
It's not.
It's not.
Hopefully, guys.
The thing I always think about with Whimsy is just Whimsy just changing the laws of physics because it's fun. And that's a very cool, like, I think that would be very cool. But I don't know, maybe like Whimsy.
It would lead to characters flying, Eric, which we know Brandon loves.
Let's pitch meeting this here, Brandon. But like, for all we know, the vessel of Whimsy has a huge effect. Like, what if it's like an actual child who has this shard? Like
a child who conspired to kill Aiden Alcium?
You know, maybe
was like, bring your kid to work
maybe
day.
the mom's endowment. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Is at the end of the day, you have to explain if Hoid was involved, if he was supposed to be one of the 16, you're like, did somebody sub in? So maybe somebody had their kid, Eric, and they were like, hey,
like, I gotta get
you know, like,
you're in here, Chief.
It's an Ash situation. You know, it's happened before.
Hey, Hoid doped out, so little Timmy, hop on in. Here's a magical sword.
Yeah, as Hoid also noped out at being a herald. There are parallels all over the place.
It would be a very different vessel. I don't know if it would be fun to read, but it would be different. Different's good.
Well, he likes to make things distinctive about about shards and vessels too.
Yeah.
You know, so that they all have like their kind of own, you know, Ambition's the dead one.
Yeah.
Ambition is the dead one and also the Shodell.
Yeah.
Token Shodell.
The token
There's at least
Shodell.
one more. Isn't there?
The diversity higher of the original 60.
Chanko Sar sounds like a Shodell name.
That's true. Yeah. That could be a Shodell.
Yeah.
That could be a Shodell.
The living Shodell and the dead Shodell.
Yeah.
Ooh, token
Diversity. 2 Shodell, 2 dragons, a bunch of humans.
And a bunch of yeah. You're not wrong though.
Are there any true Vaxillions among the shards?
That would be nuts. Can you imagine? You can't, because we have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
So
maybe
no,
Chan Koshar is a true Vaxillion.
That seems most plausible, honestly.
It's a weird name, and Shodell's usually 2, you know.
It is. Well, but then you get your palms, you know. So don't you dare bring that up.
Palms.
Yes. Evgeni, what do we got going on this one?
Realmatic stuff.
Okay.
Questioner asks, when people start thinking about distances in the cognitive realm, how long does it take for that to actually be affected in the subastral? Or be reflected in the subastral? Given the fact that sufficiently many people, presumably with sufficiently enough investiture behind them, could increase distances in the cognitive realm, is it already, or will it become standard tactics to strand opposing fleets in the subastral by just having a lot of people think really hard about them. So weaponized perception is the phrase that I like to throw in this a lot.
I love this idea.
Good question, says Brandon Sanderson. It takes longer than that. I don't think it can be used strategically. Definitely can't be used tactically. Strategically, it could take years, maybe decades, for it to have an influence. Perhaps there are certain strategic values to this, but organizing all the people and things like that, let's just say that it's not a thing that is within the realm of practical application.
I think that's a good question. I think that's a reasonable answer.
It would get
Yes
too complicated.
and yes.
Yeah,
If
it would
if
just
you
get
could
really
be
confusing. Yeah.
Like, where can you be like, oh, I just manifested a foot of space between your sword and my abdomen. You know, like
Advanced skipping.
Yeah, funky with it.
I think we saw some of this a little bit with the Duckwara, though.
Yeah, but that
In a
took like
different way.
generations, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's perception on investiture, not perception of distances.
Well,
But yeah.
do you think being self-aware of it is detrimental at all? Because it wasn't like the people of the Home Isles were like, and we're gonna think about this, you know, this chunk of anti-investiture, and we're gonna shape it into the Duckwara shape. You know, like they just had like this myth of this creature, and
Yeah,
it took on
yeah.
the shape of an idea. You know, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if you're thinking distance get further, like does that really work, or do you have to kind of believe it on some level? You know,
I think you probably have
like,
to believe it.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
It needs to be an organic thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like with distance, like if you are actively thinking about, oh my God, it would take so long for me to travel from here to there because the distance is so vast. And like you are actively thinking about, you know, you are making yourself, like it's less about belief and more about understanding in the case of distance. In the
Yeah.
case of the Duckwara, it wouldn't work because if you were thinking, oh, I want this, because like, ironically, this is like the nightmares, right? But with
Okay.
the nightmares, you know this is a nightmare in front of you, and like it's exactly the same thing. It's weaponized perception. You are forcing it into a harmless shape, but you know it's a nightmare. But you are tricking your brain to see that nightmare as, you know, bamboo or whatever. With the Duckwara, in theory, it should work the same way. In practice, the Duckwara is much larger and, you know.
Yeah, way too big.
Yeah.
that's a big piece of investiture. Yeah, to try to like, that's a big contest of will. I think he might lose that one. Although, I mean, I don't know. Kakobon did well, but
Hey.
Did something.
yeah.
It also worked very well with the Duckwara. Like, it is the Duckwara now. Like, that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But, like, though, it was always the Duckwara because, like, it inspired the stories that became the Duckwara. So it's, like, a little bit of an Ouroboros.
Yeah,
But
but
it's a serpent, so
has,
that's
like,
okay.
the idea of Duckwaga.
Like, yeah, like, they had the idea of the Duckwaga, but it was, like, this specific one, like, kind of was what, if you trace back the stories far enough, like,
yeah,
this was the inspiration for that.
Yeah.
I love the Duckwaka.
Yeah. So it's like having like thousands of years of like an entire culture thinking about a singular entity in the context of this story is what made the Duckwara happen. You can't just round up a group of people and like go running after an entity and expect that to work long term. Like you might have like a brief like, because that's what happened to Kakobon. Is like there was a brief thing where like he trapped it, but like he didn't last super long after that. He died.
It's true, but I mean, like he did. I was like, is that alternatively a different way to think about it? Is like, was that a permanent moment that changed that kind of imprinted something upon that unmade, whatever it is. It's an anti-investiture. There's too many negatives going around. The entity,
Idolith.
the idolith. Yeah, Ian loves to call them. Or because like it was trapped there in that moment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it wasn't formed in any shape yet. You know, so clearly he was able to make a lasting impression on it, even though he died of his injuries.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
tough to say. Anyway,
I really enjoy this idea of using perception to have an influence on actual, real things, like to have a real influence.
On
That's
investiture.
really fun to explore.
Yeah, I think that's really fun. I think it makes sense that like whatever investiture that makes up the cognitive realm is much harder to affect in that way. And so it's kind of slower and it takes more like the thoughts of an entire world or system to kind of shape how like a subastral goes and stuff. That all makes sense to me. Whereas like a really powerful invested thing can be shaped more by thought. I think that makes sense.
We talk about how like it's come up how space travel between 2 points, once that becomes more of a thing, that the cognitive might spread out a little more because people start to recognize the distance is greater.
Yeah.
Will we see the opposite effect potentially? I'm wondering now. If we get faster space travel. So as space travel kind of begins, we're going to start out slow, distances increase. As we get faster and faster space travel, are those distances going to then decrease? I think that'll be fun to see.
Oh, as people
Drawback
like
closer together.
lose like the recognition of how distant things are from each other.
Exactly. Like going from, let's say, a horse to a car, right? And then a car on a highway.
Mhm.
Like that distance is suddenly going to feel a lot smaller because it doesn't take forever to go across the state, for example.
I think essentially as long you are stuck in sublight speeds, no. I think if I get what you're saying, and I can see a world where you start because distances are so large, there is never, a quick way to traverse space unless you are going FTL. Because like 5% the speed of light versus 10% of the speed of light, it is still an insane amount of time to the next planet, or not to the next planet, but like the next system over.
Yeah.
And so it is still a vast amount of time and therefore a vast distance. Once you go FTL, then I think, and I don't think the Cosmere is going to get to that. I feel like the Cosmere is always going to have like FTL be this exclusive thing because once you have FTL, then the universe becomes small. And that's in sci-fi, that is almost like a metaphorical thing. In the Cosmere, it almost becomes a literal thing because if you can go from Scadrial to Rosharan instantaneously, then the idea of the distance between them kind of becomes, because you're no longer traversing space, you're just there.
Well, like that's not what FTL means. Like FTL is not instantaneous. FTL still takes time.
But it could be.
It could be.
Yes, it could be, but like it's not inherently what that is. Like
could be like
that's
twice,
not how FTL works in like Star Trek or Star Wars. Like it's normal for like you need FTL to get to other planets in the first place. Like you're not getting to another planet on sublight speed.
But, like,
but it's arbitrary how much faster than light you are.
Well, yes.
Yeah, but like
I do think that given Brandon's general like description of it being space opera, I would not be surprised if he ends up having like Star Wars, Star Trek style FTL, where it's not we're there, but it's like people are there's time for drama on the ship. That feels to me.
The farther like something is, the longer it's going to get there.
It's like, okay, this takes a few weeks.
Gonna get faster.
1,000 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But who knows? We'll see.
Cool. David, you're up.
All right, let's do it. Questioner. Hoid's motives have always been unclear. I was wondering with this new book, The Fires of December, will we get any more perspective into what his true goals really are? Brandon. This book will give you a perspective on one of his goals, kind of in the short term. You kind of already know what it is, but you will reinforce that one. I'll just leave it there. You'll be able to hopefully pick out some of the things that are going on where this is happening in the timeline. And the problem with these Hoid stories is there are two timelines. They're when he's telling it and when it happened. When he's telling it is pretty far in the future. It's post Yumi. So they are in order, the three of them, in order of when he told them. They are not in order of when they occurred, when they happened to him. So you'll have to pick out those two different timelines, and you should be able to pick out one of his goals. Again, it's not going to be a huge surprise, but it'll flesh some things out.
Hoid's primary goal, one of them is like there's implications. There's somebody's dead he wants to bring back.
Yeah.
This is a thing that if you have not read the non-canonical short story, The Traveler,
The
you
Traveler.
probably have not seen much of, because this is not a thing that is brought up very often. But he does.
Yeah.
This is a short story that Brandon read one time that I believe is not canon.
I don't
Correct.
think it's canon, but like a version of it is canon.
Like, this isn't...
Maybe.
Hoid and Frost had that conversation, but it didn't necessarily look exactly like this. I think that's the way Brandon described it, right?
That's
It's
my
something
recollection.
similar to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's called The Traveler. It is in one of the Jordan Con anthologies, I believe.
It is.
I don't know if those
also
are
just
available.
It's on Arcanum.
I'll link it
Yeah.
in the description. We did an episode on it. I'll link that too.
I don't think that's this, because that's his long-term goal, whereas this is referring to a short-term.
Yeah.
Well, and like, it's so hard to say because like he has so many short-term goals too. And like, it's like, if you look at like Tress, it's like non-obvious what his goal in that book is until like the final pages of the book.
Yeah,
You
true.
know?
True.
I would have said that his goal is, and this no longer applies, but maybe it's informative. It's to, like, for a long time, for all of the first arc of Stormlight, his goal was to keep Odium contained.
Sure.
That cat is out of the bag, and it has merged with another cat, and they are now a super cat, which is dangerous. So I can see a world in which, like, his goals evolve from keep Odium contained to deal with retribution, find allies, lobby for people to finally take this shard seriously.
Sure.
That said, what he does in Tress does not appear to have anything to do with that. What he does on Komashi is
What is he there
unclear.
for? Like,
I don't
it's
know.
not even, yeah.
I don't think he's there for anything.
Like, he and his designer just kind of checking it out. It's kind of like my recollection.
And then it just
Yeah,
it
like
got
he kind
bad.
of checked it out and immediately got turned, like, froze, according to his protections,
Yeah.
and then like immediately left after that. And
I guess the three don't have to be like, Hoid's travails don't have to be Hoid's goal, right?
no,
There's-
I don't think there's a unified thing to them other than narrated by Hoid. Bad thing happens to Hoid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think anyone said it yet, but also gathering the different types of investiture seems to
Yeah.
be.
Yes, that's a
Yeah, I know it's kind of come up and we've been circling around it. I don't know if
That's-
anybody said it.
He's wanted to be an
No.
Elantrian for a long time, according to that Elantris
Yeah.
postscript, and he finally got it in Tress.
Since the anniversary edition, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
some theories too that he's for this one, this is where he gains whatever he has with fortune going on, with being in the right
Ooh.
place. I've seen theories on that.
Sure.
I don't feel strongly right now on that theory, but I've seen that floating
That
around.
would need to be really early in the timeline, though, right?
Yeah.
Did we
Yeah.
have a wob saying when the events of December, not when Hoid's telling it, was?
when the events of it were. I don't know.
Nope.
This is because I mean,
Just that it's earlier than the others.
it's earlier
Yeah.
than the others.
But like,
okay.
apparently it will be clear once we read the book.
I can't remember if there was a wob or if I was just guessing that it was the first. But
I don't recall any like within story timeline, because for Tress we know that it's tied to the Iriali having left,
Mhm.
you know, and Hoid talks about design in there. For Yumi, we also have design around, so both of these are clearly past Stormlight 5, regardless of how far in the future he's telling
They got
us.
sparing
spaceships.
Yeah, Cosmere
Yeah,
tech.
they got
is
spaceships.
higher
It's
level.
just
Yeah. Yeah, because Yumi and Tress, yeah, they happen really late, so it's unclear when this one is.
Do we have any other Hoid goals that we know of? Trying to keep the Cosmere not dead?
Reforge Adonalsium.
he's there's a moment in the Lost Metal. Before Jay, I'm sorry.
That was a slow burn.
I was trying to articulate what I was saying. There's a moment in the Lost Metal where it's not really clear to me like what he's doing in Era 2. You know, like he's kind of hanging around Wax. He's sort of at one point, I think there's an implication when they're talking to Moonlight that she and Hoid are both keeping an eye on the same people, and that's never been clear to me if that's supposed to be Wax or like what exactly they're talking about there.
I mean, maybe Wax.
He
maybe
kept
the
Wax
Set,
alive.
Maybe the Ghostblood. No, it's not the Ghostbloods.
Worried about
Wax
autonomy.
wouldn't
in
have
general.
survived without him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think Shy was keeping an eye on Wax, so that doesn't. To me, I'm like, okay, that doesn't necessarily explain what she's saying when they're keeping an eye on the same people.
He's also kind of been working with Harmony.
Yeah, there is that aspect,
Yeah.
right? Where like he's communing with Harmony, right? Because Harmony wanted him back and to actually talk.
And they've kind of become the pair that are worried about Odium. You know, like as we kind of see in their
Attribution.
correspondence. Yeah, well, it was Odium when they were talking about it, but and then their problem, and then Sazed predicted what their problem would be word for word.
That's called foreshadowing. You know, he has access to fortune, David. It's fine.
Yeah, he's like, wait, I don't want to tell you this, but
I feel like there's something obvious we're missing.
Yeah, same.
Put your comments below. What Hoid's doing.
Telling stories.
always. Yeah,
Always.
His goal to find a worthy apprentice.
Oh, the World Singers.
Spreading another organization where people tell stories.
Yes.
That's world something.
World Singers.
World
Singers.
something ingers.
Not just that though, because I'm pretty sure I don't know that it's confirmed, but the NFL as well.
Oh yeah.
So.
Enifel.
Okay, fine.
You that one you really do need to pronounce.
When you say NFL,
it's like, wow. I knew
like,
exactly what you were talking
Right.
about. And now we hit the bingo card where we get to the Badali jewelry lore.
Yes!
Yeah.
Dolly lore.
Duh! Bingo!
Badali jewelry.
Give us more Badali lore,
Badali jewelry.
Brandon.
Oh boy.
Someone should ask him about that at some point. I bet he would think
Yes.
that. I bet he would laugh to be reminded of it. at the
That'll be
very
an
least.
episode we do if there's Elantris sequels. It's like, okay, we're gonna dig into the Badali jewelry lore. We're gonna do it.
We're going through the
Elantris World Guide for the Cosmere RPG. Please have an entire chapter about Aeon lore.
Can I express my appreciation for the Elantris Band-Aid tin because there is so much fun on that tin.
That tin is a
They're
good
cool.
tin too.
Good
That's a nice
tin.
10.
10 out of 10
Yeah.
tin. Yes.
That would be fun to do an Elantris maps through the ages video. Just kind of go between like Brandon's little paint drawing and all the various.
I mean, it has
I don't know.
not gotten
The
that
audience
much
for
better.
that is it's gotten better. The most
It
recent
has.
one
No, it
nice.
has. But it's not like Roshar levels of good.
No, we need like one more. We need them to give us the real
It's
one.
not like
and then
the
you can
foil
do the
map
whole
that you
spectrum.
can't see out of frame.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, this is Bonnie.
All right.
What do we
I'm
got?
getting all the spicy mechanics,
Yeah.
romantics questions.
I am here for it.
There you go.
All right. Next question. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, sometimes I can't tell because you're so quiet if you're like, I hate this.
No, I'm trying to not go off on tangents because you know I will go off on those
Oh,
ridiculous
this is you
tangents.
trying to restrain yourself. I see.
Yes.
Oh God, alarming.
That's
Okay.
that's
This is I am
alarming.
not saying how far off I could go on this one.
Okay, I see. Bonnie restrained. You are not unchained.
So next question. We have our questioner asks, in Yumi, Hoid describes the Shroud as effectively soul tar. And we're also told that the identities of the soul that make up that soul tar evaporated and aren't intact in the Shroud. We're also told that the nightmares are pulled out of the Shroud and are actually the same original souls. Hoid explicitly says this. So does that mean a sufficiently invested entity can perform resurrection given access to the original investiture of the soul? And Brandon says, yeah, I think this is a through line that you can follow. You've got to have someone's investiture that hasn't been reclaimed into the beyond. If it's sitting around persisting, it is possible to sort through that and turn into a cognitive shadow. I mean, we see that essentially happen at the end of that book.
Oh, I bet that's why it is so easy, relatively speaking, to like paint nightmares into other things
Because they don't have souls anymore.
because they don't have identity to like do identity
That's
interference.
a good point.
They don't have an identity field.
That was exactly what I was gonna say. Yay! You guys gotta have had bingo by now. Come on, we're bringing all the hits. This is another one for the Soul Mechanics podcast. Jesus.
I didn't say it first.
I'm out of soul talk. I know.
I know,
I don't
I know.
have any more.
I
We did
didn't
that
say it, I
earlier.
was thinking it.
Yeah.
I mean, are these so Yumi comes back.
Mhm.
She doesn't have her identity because that evaporated.
Is that true though?
You
Did it?
For Yumi?
I think it
That's-
probably
that's
took
what-
time.
That's what this says. All the souls have the Shroud
But
is
Yumi.
Yumi could be
Yumi's
the
not
weird
a
one, though.
normal soul in the shroud
Yeah,
though. Like
yeah.
Yumi's someone who has an identity. Like she remembers who she is. Like that's the whole problem. Like she didn't get
No, but-
consumed like the other shards or the other
But they-
people.
And there's a WoB out there, I think, that says that Yumi is very heavily invested.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She is. That doesn't mean that she has spiritual like identity refers to spiritual identity, which is the cryptographic key that like encodes. I mean, I speak with confidence and authority. That's just how I think of it. But
Well,
like,
Yeah.
No, for sure. But like, why wouldn't she have that? Was she purified of her identity at some point?
well, because none of them do. Because that's how the Shroud is described.
I think, but
I guess
Yumi's
I'm
not
thinking
part
of
of
it
the
as, like-
shroud in a traditional way. She is a prisoner of the shroud. She is surrounded by the shroud that is putting on a puppet show
Yeah,
for her
like,
every day.
The whole thing is like the father machine ate everyone, churned them up, and like made the shroud, which is this amalgamated soul tar. But the what are they called?
The Yogi Hijo.
The Yoki Hijo were so invested that like they recoalesced out of the soul tar.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's why they needed to be trapped into like the
So-
cycling day.
Sort of
'Cause,
like the
it
dragons in
couldn't keep
Emberdark.
them.
But it's unclear whether in the act of they probably coalesced fully though.
Yeah. And like I think like if you were able to like coalesce like some random person back out of that, like the investiture that was them like would still remember their identity. And it
But
would
they
like
do.
reinstantiate.
Because like
I
the
don't
people
know.
appear when they're drawn at the end. They appear as themselves for a moment before they
Yeah, they
vanish.
do.
But that's
And
not
so I would. Is that not? Maybe I think of like who you are and your identity as still being linked. You know what I mean? Like if you were to strip someone completely of their spiritual identity, maybe I wrongly believe that,
Like,
that would
if
like,
I
strip
am-
you of your individuality and your personality.
if I am
as
a
well.
ferrochemist and I store my spiritual identity, I am still who I am. It is
Yeah, but it's just being put into a, like in my mind, that's just like it's being vented into this like void, you know, instead of going out around you. It's not that you don't have it. Maybe I'm wrong about that though.
Yumi's teacher was
yeah.
also able. What was her?
Leon.
I don't remember. Leon, that's right. Yeah, Leon was still able to coalesce though, even outside of the day, because she was able to come to where Painter was, the city where Painter was.
Yeah.
I think
it's
that
like
Argent is arguing that these pieces of the Shroud can still have individual characteristics, but not have an identity at the end of the day. That's
Yes,
just what
because
I'm saying, which I think is totally plausible.
They are like essentially their entire soul is still there, but it's blanked of identity as if they had stored it in a metal mind and have lost access to the. I mean, it's not exactly like a metal mind because once you stop storing, it just comes back. But like, it is equivalent to zero identity situation.
That's interesting. It feels like there would be some side effect of that happening to you. That you're just like,
Well,
I don't have an identity anymore.
The side effect is a random painter can turn you into bamboo.
I guess that's true.
I think that's plausibly true for like the people who are in like the Yoki Hijo visions that are basically just being puppeted by the Father Machine. Like those people, they are collation. I don't know if that's a word. Of like the people in that village. Those don't have identity because they don't have free will. If you took them, shoved more investiture in that to them to like make them a full cognitive shadow, I think they would have an identity again.
I think where I'm coming from too is
even if you don't have free will.
We're talking about identities of the Soultar. We're also told that the identities of the souls that make up the Soultar evaporated. But I'm imagining that as taking time, almost like the dragons in Everdark. Now on a much smaller scale, but still a thing, especially because Yumi is so invested.
My understanding was that the moment the Father Machine went online and like ate the entire country of something with T. Tokyo?
Yeah, Torio, I think.
Right. Not Tokyo.
Yeah.
That's just the inspiration.
Not quite.
Yeah, so I think the moment that happened, all the people vaporized, turned into black smoke, and then their identities went, I was going to say back into the spiritual realm. I guess they were always in the spiritual realm. They lost their spiritual identity and the rest became the Shroud.
Yeah.
For the Yoki Hijo.
I'm bringing back the identity field because I actually have an idea, which is like
string theory.
Yeah. So like identity field, like it is like sort of this cryptographic key. Yeah. And it's like kind of generated by like the configuration of investiture that is you. If you run a soul through a wood chipper and mix it in with a bunch of other souls, like it can't generate that identity because like there's nothing to generate it. So like, yeah, what was identity was there would like dissipate because it's no longer being generated. Whereas like if you recoalesce something, like that engine kicks back on and like you have an identity.
But don't they seem to recoalesce at times? Like won't their identity return in those moments when they turn back into people? Or
yeah, but they're not invested enough like to counteract the Father Machine that just wood chips them again.
So they still have an identity. It's just really faint, or like
or it's like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Leon is able to go and kind of fight against this and go visit. I'm sorry, I already don't remember the city name again.
Torio.
Torio.
I'm going back to the city.
No.
Oh, we're doing city instead of kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Either you read this.
It's something with N.
Kilahito, yeah.
Kilahito is the name of the city.
Yeah,
it's the name of the city, but it's not the name of the nation.
No, do they even have a name of the nation? They're just like cities out in the darkness.
It's mentioned. It's something with like N, I think, or M.
Nagadon.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, Nagadon. I was like, just check Joff's meticulously crafted.
I did.
Article. Yeah, I'm like, it's in there. You know, it's in there. Like,
and the only reason I remember Torio so well is because I made a meme about how the cats must be so happy to be in Torio if there were cats there.
That's true.
Because the ground is warm.
Well, it would be nice. I'd be happy to be there.
I need to reread this book. I do.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
I haven't read it in a very long time.
I-
I've
I-
only read it once.
I think it's more
I'm sure you
just
hate
like,
this.
man, the mechanics of this are a lot. And I'm like, oh boy.
It's a book
so-
that I think that he could have written Ars Arcanum for and maybe done a little less explaining in the text
Well.
of. But
Well, Chris
the
wasn't
other
there,
day,
I guess.
yeah.
So Hoid's gonna blast.
Yeah, Hoid's not going to write an Ars Arcanum.
Yeah, Hoid's
Are you-
not.
no, he's not. No, he's not.
I kind of want that now. I'm taking over the Ars Arcanum. This is what this is going to look like.
Yeah.
Fanfic
You would say
idea.
anything useful.
Ars
It
Arcana.
would just be mean.
Anyway, we've not talked about this WoB at all, which is about resurrection, actually.
That's true. That is
We're
true.
getting there. We're getting
That
there.
is true. That's
Well,
true.
like Brandon doesn't talk about resurrection. Like he's talking about cognitive shadows, and we did talk about that.
Yeah.
I talked about that.
Yeah, I kind of don't understand the question a little bit. So
Yeah.
no worries. That's just in my case. I wasn't quite following.
Yeah, he's saying you got to have someone's investiture that hasn't been reclaimed into the beyond. I'm imagining this talking about the identity is that the identity hasn't evaporated yet. If it's sitting around persisting, then you can turn that into a cognitive shadow.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. But like, are these people kind of cognitive shadows with no identity? Because they are persisting, you know? Like
that's
just a big
kind
mass
of
that.
yeah. That's how I think of them, because I don't think of identity as like this, you know, the natural frequency of the soul, if you will. I think of it as like markers on the soul, and so you can strip those markers away, and the rest of the soul is still there unless you do something with it.
So the way I imagine this is actually, have you guys played Skyrim?
Once
Sort of.
or twice, I suppose.
It's if
No,
you've ever done
definitely.
any talent tree, I imagine the Skyrim one, but if you've ever done any talent tree, I just
Okay.
imagine it as points on a talent tree.
So Ian goes to Pokemon for talent trees, and you go to Skyrim. Interesting.
Well, the Skyrim one
not how
is
Pokemon works at
specifically very
all.
pretty because it has a nice like background. It looks very starry.
Yeah,
So
it
that's why
has
it's that one.
constellations, which is nice.
'Cause it reminds me of
Good one.
like Cosmere things.
That's a good
See,
one.
but for my thing, you can only pick one. You can't be in
Yeah.
both.
I don't know. I'm interested to see more as we progress through the Cosmere because I want to see a fair chemist store identity. Like,
I
what
know
does
that-
that
I was
do
thinking
to
that.
them when they're storing it? Like, it's got to do something to them, but like, what does that look like specifically? And I think that answer would help me kind of parse what this exactly means. Because, like, we have the word identity, sure, but like, what does that mean? Like, when you're
The
like
eternal
chilling
one.
as a dude.
I mean, Parshmen have lost
Yeah.
some, if not all, of their identity.
Yeah, that was not
I
good.
think we have a word of Brandon that you are more susceptible to emotional elemency if you are storing your identity.
Sure. Makes sense.
Because you don't have your identity field protecting you.
That's true. That's a fact.
It's been disrupted.
For those of you like who don't know this, I think we did an episode on like spiritual mumbo jumbo terms.
Yeah.
In like 2018.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember which episode this was in. It may have been that.
Mhm.
It may have been like a shard plate episode of some kind, because I think we talked about it in the context of, well, shard plate, like when you put the helm, it like protects you from emotional elemency as well, and so like that generates a field.
Look, I know we've brought it on up on WoB episodes many times. That I know
Look,
for sure.
just go back and listen to our backlog
Yeah.
and find the episode where
And if you find it, put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. When did we
That's
first
true.
talk about the identity field? Cool. So I think this will be our last WoB because we're getting very tired today. So sorry that the last one's long and this one's a bit shorter. That's just how it goes sometimes. Questioner asks, the whole Kharbranth incident in Wind and Truth, the whole moving Kharbranth to the spiritual realm, is that really functional? Or is it more of just a comfort for Teravangian? Brandon, I'm actually going to raffle you on this. But let's point something out. I don't know if this has passed around in the fandom. Let me talk about that moment, because I still consider that one of the most important moments in the whole series. Because what's going on here is the conflict between Dalinar and Taravangian is not actually the conflict either of them think it was. The conflict was what they both did afterwards, right after that conflict, and which philosophies they are espousing by the actions that directly happen after the conflict. And I think stealth, that moment, and another moment are the most important things, at least for their arcs. Whether that's real or just a comfort, I'll leave that Raffo for now. If it's real, it's a very, very, very dangerous thing he has done. That was a lot of moments listed here. So he's saying that moment and another moment are the most important things. I would say that moment is the Kharbranth thing. The another moment, I think, is Taravangian picking up honor. Because like that was kind of the philosophical thing where
maybe.
Right, where Dalinar's like, oh, you claim you don't need the power, but like then Taravangian picks it up anyway. Because it's like, yeah, no, but I do want it. You know? Like that was kind of the philosophical difference. And I think that's pretty clear reading the book, personally.
Oh, I was thinking something else.
Oh, what were you thinking?
That that's really interesting. I was interpreting it a little bit differently. That the thing they do right after, Dalinar renounces his oaths and decides that, like, thematically, that honor is more about outcomes than it is about keeping your word no matter what. And like that's the path he's going down. And Taravangian keeps these people alive secretly and is acting kind of in a like, you must be ruthless sort of way, but in reality is unable to actually execute on his own philosophy. Like, because he can't actually be like, oh no, you need to cut yourself off completely from everything.
He's a hypocrite.
He's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite and Dalinar is not, you know, and they show that by what they do afterward. And like that is going to be the part of the undermining of Taravangian is that he doesn't necessarily believe everything that he says. So, but I think your way makes a lot of sense too. I was just interpreting it a different way.
Yeah, because I grabbed the quote. It's like, you claim that power itself meant nothing to you. Now you reach your crossroads, old friend. Because if power is meaningless to you, then you will not need more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I think that's more likely than mine.
Yeah.
So third interpretation on this, talking about how Dalinar dies directly after this. He essentially sacrifices himself to leave space for a possible better world afterwards, and trust that the people who he leaves behind will possibly be able to make this better world. And he says goodbyes to those people too. Whereas Taravangian immediately clings on to Kharbranth, sticks it in the spiritual realm, is like, this is not going to change. This is my city, and nothing is going to touch this. So while Taravangian grabs onto it, holds onto it, wants to keep everything, Dalinar lets go. And lets someone else kind of take over.
Didn't Taravangian already put it in the, like, this didn't even happen right now.
Oh no, you're right. I'm getting the timeline.
That's a good point. That happened earlier.
So like,
you're
happened earlier. That's right. That undermines my point. That's fair.
I mean, I think Brandon might be a little confused on the timeline.
Find out until later.
Yeah. We found out later.
That is a good point. Sometimes that timeline's a little fuzzy, but you're right. That was
definitely an earlier day for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Eric, you win. That's what he was talking about. They do have a lot of fun contrasts, though, and I think that is one of the good reasons that it makes a lot of sense that Taravangian was ultimately the main villain. Brandon's saying if it's real, it's a very, very dangerous thing he's done. Why do we think that is?
It's a vulnerability, right? This is, he has presented to cultivation as this ruthless, villain who is willing to sacrifice even his own people for what he says are his beliefs. And in reality, that's not the case. He's not willing to sacrifice these people. And so if anyone finds out about them, they've got a huge leverage against him.
Oh, but we decided that couldn't be that, right? Or is that something? Oh, I guess maybe. See, okay, now I am confused because the person is asking about the hiding them in the spiritual realm thing, isn't
No,
he?
this is there's two things going on here. Like, there's the
Okay,
question,
I'm just getting
which
confused.
is there like a mechanical, like, did that really happen? And then Brandon uses that as an opportunity to hop on his little soapbox and talk about
something else.
The actual conflict between these two people is not the real conflict. The real conflict is a conflict of ideologies. And then he talks about that. And then at the end, he goes back to Kharbranth and says, if he really just ported all, which I don't understand why he would hedge on this, like that
seemed pretty clear in the text.
He does this sometimes, like the man who might be tall.
At least
well,
in that
goes
situation,
back to Way of King's Prime.
There was less textual evidence for him actually being tall at that point, rather than Teravangian being like, yes, this is what I did in his POV. Like, it's pretty explicit.
But yeah, so the question is, why is the Kharbranth thing dangerous? Is it like Shardic level dangerous in that it represents a broken promise and therefore it exposes a vulnerability in him? Or is it what I talked about earlier, which is, if someone discovers that, they can use that as leverage? Either way, dangerous.
I'm going to disagree with you slightly, maybe just on your phrasing, which is like, I think more what he's saying here is not like, it's not just like the real conflict is a conflict of ideologies, because that was always the conflict. It's that neither of them are actually follow the ideology they were espousing. Like,
sure,
when push comes to shove, like they both act counter to what they previously would have thought they would do.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
So it's like the real conflict of their ideologies, like, isn't what they thought it was, because that's not what they were saying it was and arguing about. But like, words versus action. Am I smart enough to like put what those real ideologies are into words? No. I need Brandon to spell that out. But I believe it.
I feel like the danger is more than that of Evgeni. Like, I feel like there's some danger in creating these copies of people in the spiritual.
Well, are they copies or?
I guess. Well,
I think there's danger in finding. It's almost like a loophole in the. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I guess in the spiritual realm, he'd created for them a clone of Kharbranth. So Kharbranth
it's the city that's the clone.
The city's the clone.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you go in that place, if you visit Kharbranth, you're going to see ruins in the physical realm. And you will think that it was destroyed. I guess the question is, are you going to find, like, bodies and bones?
Yeah.
And it kind of sounds like a no.
I feel like they all got... You'll find cultivations agents. They'll be dead there.
They'll be chilling there.
Agents.
And, like, all the people cultivations agents killed, because, like, those... He didn't bring those over. Like, he...
Poor Brawl.
Because...
Yeah,
because like if like he had made copies of everyone, like he would have made copies of everyone.
Yeah.
That's
true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I think the danger here is he found the loophole in the agreement is that he found a way to move an entire city to the spiritual realm just because of the legality around it.
But this had nothing to do
into the agreement. Like,
this had nothing to do with.
City, I think not the agreement with Dalinar is the Shardic, like what the shards are able to do and not able to do with interfering. But he was able to do this because this was his city. There was some specific quote in there.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing I was actually thinking about.
That's true.
Because the thing that they were saying, I think that you might be thinking of is he says at one point that he's able to destroy Kharbranth because it was given to him by Odium. He says that thing.
Yes.
There you go. That's what it was.
Which is a thing that I've always kind of disliked, because I'm like, that's not really what he said. He promised to preserve Kharbranth, not that he would give it. He wasn't giving it to Teravangian. But then I was like, well, he actually didn't break his word, because in the most important sense, he did preserve Kharbranth, which is that the people still exist. He did save them. And so that doesn't actually
the city is the people, not the buildings.
Yeah, I believe that to be a reasonable interpretation of what especially Taravangian was asking for in that moment, which was save my people, like save my city.
So let me rephrase, because you're absolutely right. The people are the real ones. The clone is the city. I think Brandon thinks that having these people chilling in the spiritual realm, these actual people, is a very dangerous thing.
Really?
I think there's something that Brandon's referring to with it being very, very dangerous, and I don't think we have nailed it, personally.
I don't think it's necessarily like dangerous for him. I think it's dangerous for those people.
Okay.
Because they are in the spiritual realm. Like, if like, not that like he needs to like maintain active concentration to maintain like the city, but like, what if like there like a crack happens and like somebody slips out and gets lost in the spiritual realm? Like bad things could happen to these people potentially.
Well, and I think there's a risk in that these people, for them to not realize that this has happened to them, he's going to be messing with their minds all the time. Like, you know, he's going to need to be, because in real life, people would, people would want to be like, oh, I'm going to go see my cousin. Like, why are there no sailors coming in? You know, or like you could maybe simulate some of that. You know, but at a certain point, like you're like the weight of keeping this up is going to probably potentially be hard on them. You know, if you have to keep continually like,
it's like already a little bit of that happened because like he like messed with people's memories of like him dying because like he like shows up and like hangs out with his family,
and he's like, oh, it's like he's still the king, like nothing ever changed, kind of. Oh yeah,
it's going to be somewhat helped by like, oh, like Odium just like isn't allowing travel between countries anymore. So like they're cut off. Or like he might make fake sailors that come and visit and deliver goods.
But you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, like I do think that like it will break. Like I think at a certain point it might break down. Maybe not. Maybe he can perfectly replicate it. Because the visions are pretty convincing. But I think Dalinar found
the spiritual realm
goes elsewhere.
The spiritual realm also like can run itself a little bit. So it's not going to be like a Matrix situation where you see, you know, the same cat, whatever.
I think so, but to like a certain degree, like the visions, like Dalinar, if he like went after like one of the people, he found them to not have much substance to them. You know, like maybe Taravangian could set it up better, but. You know, that was an intentionally crafted experience. Like, that was pretty shallow.
Somebody builds a boat and just starts sailing. Like, are they going to reach an edge? Like, is he going to like artificially extend it? Is he just going to like, are they going to like, oh, sudden storm, they have to turn back?
Yeah.
There's this aspect of where in Taravangian's POV, he's saying, one perfect place of peace and love has some major like dystopian vibes. It's I've protected them and it's all peaceful and lovely. And it's like, it's the most horrifying crap ever.
It's literally the good place.
So honestly, now I want to see like interludes from Kharbranth.
God.
That'd be crazy.
The fact that he can do that. The fact that he can just also up the city, like the people of the city, and move them over.
I think that also might be part of the terrifying part.
Yeah,
that's kind of scary that he could do that.
Or like, what if it's not working for Kharbranth anymore, and now he has this agreement where he has all these other places? You know, Kharbrantians are starting to get a little concerned about the situation. Oh, let me just pick up this other place and put it in the spiritual realm.
I'm just imagining Odium having like 20 different places that he's keeping. That's just like, I saved them. I saved all of them.
I saved them.
You know, and like, I kind
just
of love that. That's sick.
Little pockets of perfect little worlds.
I mean, maybe even a planet.
Like, there's also like a question of like, what like effect does that copy of Kharbranth have on the spiritual realm surrounding? Is it going to like warp things?
Not a place,
It's like,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, but like he's making it a play.
Yeah. Okay. So there's maybe a danger there that like you're not really supposed to be able to do that.
Does it develop its own cognitive?
That would be
Kharbranth
crazy.
starts speaking.
I don't think it works like that. Not any more than like when Dalinar and company are going from vision to vision. Yes, they can be found in those visions, but like those visions are not doing anything to the spiritual realm.
But they're also like transient. Like they don't last that long.
I just don't think that matters.
You know what that made me think of? I was actually thinking of this earlier today of, just like Odium popping up at the end of part 2 of Oathbringer. Love that. If another shard finds out about this, another shard could probably just pop up in that vision and torture the crap out of all of those people in a vision.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think most of them would.
That's true. That's true. That's fair.
That was the thing that I've been wondering is like how, like, are they in any real way vulnerable? Like, could somebody exact direct leverage over him through threatening them? But I don't know how much like absolute power he has over these like created spaces and
I think if they had the right connection to Kharbranth, like they'd probably have to know that existed, right? It'd probably be really hard to find.
Or have some way of finding, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine he'd be very protective of it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he's going to be hella protective of that spot, so he's going to know if something happens.
Oh, yeah.
A different thought that I had, Eric, about the danger.
Great.
Is I took it as he was still talking a little bit more about what happened with the shards.
Okay.
And Darianchen taking them up. And I still think that Honor is going to abandon him at a critical juncture. And like what he's done here is, and like that's maybe what he's kind of pointing at a little bit, is that he's built this on unstable footing here. Dalinar is going to win the philosophical battle that matters, which is in the mind of this honor that's becoming sentient. And
the honor
that
entity.
will ultimately the honor entity. Yeah.
We don't need to make that a thing.
But it's fun. Because people don't like it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
No, I think that's a really good point, is that, Dalinar let go of his oaths. This goes back to something we were talking about before. Dalinar let go of his oaths and Honor left, right? But he did the honorable thing by not keeping his oaths. Meanwhile, Taravangian is holding to kind of the letter of the law here and doing exactly what he says he's going to do, but with all kinds of loopholes that eventually lead to doing something that is dishonorable.
Yeah. Because it was a more mature perspective of Honor would look at what he has done and go, hey, no, you promised to protect this city and its people, yet you build this wave that would destroy everything. And you technically swept the people away into a safe pocket, safe, huge air quotes, right? But like you saved them from a problem you created. That's not saving them.
And like the real city is destroyed and their free will is to a great degree infringed upon now.
But he's keeping his oaths.
And that's why I'm saying a more mature version of Honor would actually take issue with that.
I found the quote, and I'll just read it because it's so good. You understood me, it cried, Honor. Better than you think, Dalinar returned. There are still lessons to learn, stories to tell, but you cannot learn them with me, for you are not Honor, not yet.
Tripping upward. Honor
is far more than an oath kept. Learn, see, and remember me, Dalinar told it. Ask yourself why. And I'm like, that's pretty sick, actually, because it's going to be going around seeing what Taravangian does. I was like, is that the right thing? It's good.
That's a good moment. That's all setting up for some great stuff, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Cool. Let's head on over to Who's That Cosmere Character?
This character is from Roshar.
Menace.
Tien.
Tom.
Braze.
Hoid in drag on a horse.
It's time for Who's That Cosmere Character? Caw. Welcome to Who's That Cosmere Character, the game show where you send 5 clues in a character to WTCC at 17shard.com. I read each clue aloud, and after each clue, these guys have a chance to guess who's that Cosmere character. And just like last time, I don't have access to the regular queue, and Grace is out. So we're doing some from our Herald priority queue, which you can do for $10 a month. You can submit things to our Who's That Cosmere Character priority queue. So that's what we're going to do. So this one is sent in from Silent Echo. Clue 1, I have traveled far.
Only to be with you?
Good for you, Silent Echo.
How about Zillion?
It's not Zillion. I like that. Which one?
I was like, I won't clarify. You have to answer.
Okay, well, it's
I
not
get 2 for 1.
Zillion, but technically that's not specific enough.
Right, I know.
It's not right, I know.
I'm getting the feeling from this that this is going to be something very specific.
Mm.
Can we know Adon? I shouldn't.
So
Mm.
I'm going to go with something kind of a silly guess here.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with
Okay.
Kelsier's campfire from Secret History.
Real.
Stretching the bounds of character, but
Yeah.
I like it.
No, it's not. It's not
If
that.
I mean, I guess if Stick can be character, the campfire
Exactly.
Yeah.
the character
technically
too.
everything
That's
has
why
a
I went
cognitive
that.
aspect.
That's true. Yeah.
Correct.
Because my first thought was Stick.
People are
Great.
like going to be setting in who's that character? Who's that cosmic character? Beaverstone Keep.
It's Kelsier's cloak. No. Misham.
It's not Misham. Clue 2, I have been pursued.
What was the first
Still-
one?
Ambition.
It's not ambition. The first clue was I have traveled far. Did you guess, Evgeni?
No, I was going to recall the first clue, which is
Okay.
that
Traveled
characters are
far, been pursued.
my guess is Fleet.
It's not Fleet.
So far, both Zillion and Fleet fit the clues.
So far.
I want to guess like something that refers to like lesbian, like being the pursuer. You know, where like that's
Sure.
where my mind goes.
Sure.
The first person who killed a lesbian.
Yeah, like would they give it a name? I don't
No.
think so.
No, they were not.
No way Lesian would let that name persist.
Well, I'm gonna guess Kaladin because Kaladin's both traveled far and Lesbian has pursued him. So Kaladin.
It's not Kaladin. This would have been a very fun set of clues for Kaladin. It's like, oh, I mean, he's pursued, but you know.
I mean, Hoid is like too obvious, too. You know, you're like, who would? Sometimes
I'm going to get the Hoid guess out of the way.
It's not Hoid. Clue 3. This will be very helpful. I was at the second Battle of Narok.
The second Battle of Narok. Wait.
That's the Wind and Truth one, right?
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I have to think about that. I'm like, it's not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Battle
yeah.
of the Tower. It's not the second Battle
No,
of the Tower.
it's Tower. It's yeah.
Sigil?
It's not Sigzil.
I feel like if Zillion doesn't count, then Sixo doesn't count.
Well, you know,
either.
now we've guessed
Oh,
both
yeah.
Zellions.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Hey, I meant say, yeah.
Oh, is it the Chasm Fiend?
There's like 50 of
There's
them.
a lot of them.
Thundercloud.
Thundercloud. Yeah.
Are you is that your
Yeah.
guess, Bonnie?
Yeah, that's my guess.
No, it's not Thundercloud.
It's another one of the Chasm friends. It's Burp Slurper.
Oh God!
Clearly.
How could we
Got
forget
him.
Burp Slurper? Is it Ballerina? No, was it like Dancer? Who was the whatever?
Whatever.
Pursued, huh?
I would say
Followed,
they've definitely
chased.
been pursued. No question.
Okay,
There's no doubt in my mind that we would all agree that that is true.
interesting. Okay, wow, it's really hard not to think about Sigzo.
Start naming those generals. Very memorable. All of them.
I mean, I remember when, right? Because Brandon's dead.
When
Mm. I remember them as
Brandon's
star,
dad,
star,
who-
star.
Brandon's dad, who let Sazed or who let Sigzil do a terrible level of strategy. No,
Look, sometimes you gotta let the young ones make their own mistakes.
that's true. What about just freaking Relaine?
It's not really.
He was chased by people.
Sure.
Okay, there we go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fair
He
enough.
went to he's gone in and out of the Shattered Plane several times, a distance that is later trivialized, but takes quite a
It
quite a
is
lot of
actually
work
quite a
early
while,
on.
yes.
Leighton.
It's not Leighton. Clue 4. I give Storm Wardens a bad reputation.
Oh my god, is it like
Uh.
Ram's corrupt Storm Warden?
But we
I can't. I'm not guessing that. I'm not guessing that. Don't answer. I don't
no,
think
surely
that's it.
not.
Is this
The
Odium?
Stormfather?
It is not Odium. It is not the Stormfather. That would be funny, though.
Okay,
The Stormfather
what
has been
about-
traveled far.
Here's my thought. Here's my logic.
Okay.
Syl always knows when a high storm's coming, right?
Okay.
So she gives Storm Wardens a bad name. So I'm guessing Syl.
It's not Syl.
She was,
Damn.
Still wasn't at the second Battle of Narok.
you can guess V.
Yeah, she was. They were in the sky above it when they were fighting Seth. The battle was happening below them. I count
That's
them
the
as being
first
there,
one.
at least in my mind.
That's the
That's
first
the
one.
first
Damn it,
battle.
you're
No.
right.
Wind and Truth.
Damn it! I just can't
went
get
over
this.
this.
I do know.
Can't do it.
I think I know who it is. I think I know who it is.
Okay.
Okay. Ian's got it.
Do you want to message it to me?
I'm going into message,
Okay.
Eric.
Okay.
Don't
I won't
respond
say
one
anything.
way or the other.
I will just,
Okay. You can just.
I
guess
want
next.
credit that
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
it
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Before
absolutely.
the next.
Interesting.
That way, if one of you scoops me,
We have
Next
evidence. We have a
clue.
paper trail.
Maybe I've known it even longer, and I'm just being quieter about it.
I'll
You know.
take a guess.
Uh,
Is it Venley?
that's not how you win.
It's not Venley. Clue 5. My words are studied closely.
Moloch.
It is Moloch. Yay!
Oh, very nice.
I like that. That's fun.
Why does he give him a bad name? Because like he's better at predicting the future.
You
I
know,
don't know.
you-
I figured it had something to do
Oh.
with predicting the future and
You know-
didn't examine it more.
Yeah.
that's a question for Silent Echo. There's no additional information. I look. I didn't say we would all agree with every clue. I say that he's been pursued, and that is true.
Mhm.
True.
Okay.
It ties it to like future sight being of Odium. Like
when you
Yeah.
when you say it's
Like-
been pursued, do you mean by Joe Shore, the head of Terrification
Yeah, the Silent Gatherers.
Gathering?
Yeah, of course.
Presumably.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
is so funny.
We all remember Joe Shore, obviously.
Everyone loved that note.
This next one is sent by John Carlfeld. And this is what's that Cosmere location? It's a
Wow.
location.
Hmm.
Okay, clue 1. This location was the site of an important confrontation.
This character's from Rosharan.
The Threnody system.
No.
How specific?
Yeah,
Let's-
this is the challenge with location because it's like the Cosmere. It's like, okay, I'm gonna say no,
yeah.
Evgeni.
the Lord Ruler's throne room with all the stained glass.
I like that. It's not the Lord Ruler's throne room.
I believe
Okay.
that has been the answer to what's that Cosmere
I think
location
it has,
before.
actually.
You never know.
Like
what about?
if Krennic
okay.
Shaw was the answer, I would just give it for that, right? Like, you know.
Oh, see, because I wouldn't. I'd be like, that's not specific enough. Like that's
Well,
not.
technically,
exactly
it was
it.
more specific, but you know,
Mm.
I don't know. I'll have to use my judgment as to.
We trust you, Eric. We trust you.
yeah.
You've been doing this for a while. Okay. What about? I forget what they call it. If it's like the square of like lances or the survivor square with the square where Kelsier fights the Inquisitor.
Oh, the fountain.
Square of the Survivor.
It is not Fountain
Do they
Square / Square of the Survivor, and then yeah.
See, they call it both, right? Yeah.
Well, it was
yeah.
book 1. It was Fountain.
Well, it's Fountain Square first, and then it gets renamed.
Yeah. Okay, that's what it was.
I'm gonna go
I
with
was gonna
Ryan
say-
Tower.
Sorry, who? Sorry, what?
Ryan?
You're
Ryan
correct.
Tower?
Yeah, it,
Oh, no.
Mhm.
Clue 2.
The Sorceress.
This location remains quite significant.
The no?
It is the Nell.
Oh my gosh.
Sick.
See,
Yeah.
That's sick. That's good. I like that a lot. And
I thought
thankfully,
about the nail.
that was one that I don't think you could be too specific. You know, it's a tough one to do.
Mhm.
Damn, Bonnie. Sick.
What's the important confrontation that happened there?
Well, there'll be the
Presumably
odium
they're talking about odium
ambition.
ambition.
Yeah, but Ambition was mortally wounded in the Threnodite system and she died elsewhere, is the quote we have from the essay.
Well, you can bring it up with John Carfeld. And clue 3, this location has yet to be visited on screen.
Don't want to visit it.
Yeah. Clue 4 is pretty funny. It said the local population is not very friendly to visitors.
That is
the entities.
It is
Sure.
said. That is the thing that is said, yes.
I would say being mortally wounded is not the same as being killed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you could rip her guts out and she's like not going to make it, but that's not the moment where necessarily you like rip someone's head off, you know, and
Sure.
like end it, which I feel like is probably the distinction.
Yeah, but my interpretation of that is they clash in the Threnodite system, Ambition escapes, and then just dies from her wounds elsewhere, and that's where the
And
Nell
Mercy's
is.
involved somewhere.
No, I think she could have died from her wounds, but Odium was still actively pursuing her and did a coup de grace
Mm.
elsewhere.
I guess we'll find out
Yeah.
one day.
And then clue
Okay.
5 was, though finding this location is not at all that difficult, actually reaching it would require a healthy dose of ambition, something that ironically can no longer be found there. Hey,
Mm.
nice.
Well, unhealthy doses of ambition
Potentially.
or anti-ambition.
All right, everyone. Thank you all for watching. You can find us on 17shard.com for all your news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever want. Join our Discord, discord.gg/17shard. You can support our Patreon at patreon.com/17shard for as little as $1 a month. And I don't know what we'll do next time. Something more WoBs because we didn't get through what we wanted to get through.
We're
But
going to get some other content out there. That will
there
be
will be
interspersed.
content. That's for sure. That's a
There
promise.
will be more episodes.
That's right. See y'all next time.
Peace.
Bye.
Caw.